Hello everyone, this is Mirage, and today I'm gonna be discussing about Torchlight 2. Now Torchlight 2 is the extended version of Torchlight 1 and has the multiplayer options but the possibility to play it in a single player if one chooses to do so. What I'll be talking about in this video is giving you guides on how to consolidate your build, as well help you out with some advanced tips so you guys won't feel lost through the entire gameplay. In the game I've seen a lot of players that start to confuse themselves, that leads them unwelcomed and wonder with things like what's going on, where am I? And having said this, that is what I've been seeing in most of the players who play this game on multiplayer. And out of these reasons, I was inspired to hopefully provide you guys with some useful tips, because I've watched too many people progressing through the quests without meeting the real requirements for the dungeons. Alright, so back to the beginning of the game. When you click on new game, the game introduces you to its 4 classes, and those are Ember Mage, a spellcaster, a berserker, which has the potential to deal high physical damage with criticals as a melee, an engineer that has high health and a lot of durability, and last but not least, the Outlander. The Outlander is a class that's about wielding guns, pistols, bows, crossbows, shotguns, and it's highly focused on dodges and running. So after you confirm your name and character class, the next section tab will be the pets. You can choose your pet name if whatever you like, and the pets are very helpful throughout the game because they will buy you stuff as well as sell stuff for you while fighting outside the base area. And they can be fed also with fish, so they can have more damage and they can have more impact into the game. Next, what we have is the game difficulties. For those who are looking for easy levels, I recommend doing it on casual with enchants that give you bonus experience. And for those who are seeking better equipments, I'd say veteran is the way because of the better quality drop for the items. Now elite really requires you to know what you're doing into the game, and you also have the hardcore mode. So my tip of advice for having fun with the game while also playing is not to forget that you can dictate the phase of the game. So stop looking for questings, which normally people do, and don't let the level requirements for the dungeons fool you. To make things easier, I'm gonna pick my 100 mage, and I'll show you guys later how end game looks like. Now, what you see on my right side on the screen is my inventory, on which above it it's displayed the armor I'm wearing, as well as my weapons. Beneath it you have 3 sections of inventory, which are your equipment inventory, your consumables that you'll be able to store things like potions, fish for pets and scrolls, and the spells inventory. The spells can be found by killing monsters as they randomly drop across the dungeons. Below the inventory section there are the skills. Each class has 3 top sections of active skills, and on the bottom side there are located passives. On your left side you have your pet panel that will display your inventory. Note that your pet can wear also spells, and since we're at the spells, based on my experience, I don't recommend equipping the pet with spells that have summonings except the summon archers, because the pet automatically summons the spells and you have no control over the pet whatsoever. Below this pet panel is your character panel that you'll be adding points based on whatever you think it will make your build better. Now next is the hotkeys. As you can already see, I have mine changed because I don't like the normal ones, but you can change them in the options. And for those who don't know, in the hotkeys you can place skills, spells, as well as scrolls. And if you look a little bit more to the left side, you will notice that next to the hotkeys you have this green scope that shows you if your item names should be displayed on the ground or not. And on our right side you have your right click skills. There is a secondary one that can be easily switched when pressing the tab, and in every act you have stash. And that's about it. So the first thing once you reach in the town base is the stash. In every base that you arrive you will have stash and shared stash. They're the same stash as you have left behind in other towns. Now what the shared stash does is allow your other characters you already have to take his but also place another equipments in it. So having said that, I think we're done with the basics of the game. I consider anything advanced further than the basics is the tips that I can give you guys, and I hope that will be found of huge information for those who are seeking gear. So the first tip would be that the act bosses drop 100% a random unique item, which can be sometimes abused given the fact that you can already reroll the world. And what I mean by rerolling the world is that you can respawn all the monsters and all the bosses in the dungeon areas. And yes, for those who do not know, that is also possible. You can reset, and it can be done by hosting a game into multiplayer, when you'll be able to see the marking options to reroll the world, or you can do that in a single player as well by going into LAN and being able to select the reroll option as well. The other thing to mention is that most of the dungeons have secret rooms, so keep an eye out for where you're going. These secret rooms always seem rewardative and guaranteedly drop radiation potions that are healing mana and health at the same time compared to the normal ones. And with things like chests that I know of, the golden ones for example, they always have the tendency to drop at least one elemental ember, which can be crafted at the merchant. Now let's talk about gear and enchanters. There are a lot of enchanters which give you different enchants as they're appearing randomly on the maps, as well in the dungeons. And compared to gambling, I advise enchanting, but most of the people are not aware of the enchants in their gear, and I think it's a huge problem. So if by any chance you run into an enchanter called Boris the Stout or Juric the Enchanter, which are the two best enchanters in the game that people often look for, note that Boris offers attribute enchants like strength, focus, dexterity and vitality based on random code roll, and what Juric gives you is socketing on your armory, which can be obtained of 2 maximum slots for you to socket. Of course, there are other enchanters that you will be able to meet, like Grandmaster Enchanter that gives you 4 enchants, and because the maximum enchants is 3 per armor or weapon, have in mind that enchanting can be dearly expensive, and it will be requiring a lot of money for disenchanting as well. You will also meet other enchanters, for example, that can give you ice, fire, electricity and venom resistance, or perhaps damage, some bonus experience gain, bonus gold found, and according to me this is the biggest downfall with the enchants. Well, the thing with the enchants is that the coding system is based on a random roll, so I'd say good luck with the enchanting, but don't forget that this has a huge role in the mid game onto the end game, and it's the reason of the lack of progressing further with some players that I've already seen struggling with the game. The socketing is also another important part in the game, because there is this problem: some of the embers that are most likely found in normal or perhaps golden chests, players tend to be storing them in their stashes. So I highly advise against those principles, and I advise you not to do that. Like I said, dungeons can be respawned and you'll be able always to pursue new gems, so don't be afraid to be crafting them. All elemental embers can be crafted at the merchant, and for the price of 3 embers you will be able to receive 1 higher quality ember, which will be a gem of the same level value that was imported with the 3 gems that were given in the first place. And after so many hours of crafting and seeing how the crafting works, what I can tell is that the chances of getting Chaos Ember compared to the Blood, Void or Iron Ember is higher, and they have no craft order whatsoever. I've also tried various combinations of testing this possibility and turn to you guys with an answer that will probably disappoint you with the fact that the crafting system is also based on luck. Unfortunately, there is no easier way to get the ember you like here, so that's how things are with the crafting, and I will try to help you out by sending a link in the description for all the sockets that exist in the game, as how they can be found by informing yourself as well, looking around the page. Once you complete the game, which I think it can be done within 8 hours, you'll be able to unlock the map works, where you can endlessly farm by farming maps from the map seller, or you can do by going to Felicia. What Felicia does is allows you to progress into new game, plus where you can start everything from the beginning, and you'll be able to keep the armory that you already have. The monsters there will be higher level, which means the challenge increases, but also important thing to mention is that once you go to New Game Plus, you can't go back, and the server is different. So what I mean by that is that you'll be able to see hosted games in multiplayer only from New Game Plus. This goes up to New Game Plus 5. This progression goes up to New Game Plus 5, and each one of them is a different server, so if you're more of a multiplayer type, I don't recommend going into New Game Plus. However, if you choose to look for better items, for better gear, then New Game Plus would be definitely better way to look, because bosses there will be starting from level 15. And remember how I said every act boss guaranteedly drops a unique item? Oh well, good luck farming, because you can transfer items through the shared stash from New Game Plus, or New Game Plus Plus, or New Game 5 Plus, back to New Game on a different character. And it is possible to do that, so hope you guys test that out and use it as well. But if any of you are having difficulties with your build order, I have found this Torchlight 2 fun page, and has reset potions by simply replacing your shared stash. So keep in mind that you have to keep your stash sided, and I'll be putting that also in the description. I'll be giving information also in the description for that. I hope you guys like this video, and I was somehow able to provide you with enough help how to play the game. So see you guys until next time.